Okay, today in the book corner with JC, we're going to be talking about the best Sherlock Holmes stories by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Now, I believe most of the stories, if not all of them, are in the public domain, it being about 100 years since most of them were written. And it's classic stories of detective fiction, one of my personal favorites, Sherlock Holmes. So let's get into my top 10 list. I'm sure other people might have their top 10 list of the different stories. And by looking at different people's lists, you might be able to gauge what you would like yourself. So this is JC's top 10. And we're going to talk about stories. They could be longer form or short stories. All right, here we go. Now, when I evaluate a Sherlock Holmes stories, I like to have a good antagonist, a good mystery, and Holmes has to actually run down and trap the antagonist. Now, some stories, I think Conan Doyle got a little lazy, and he just had the villains board a ship, go out to sea, the ship sinks with the loss of all hands. Easy way out. Yeah, that doesn't make a top story for me. Some of the mysteries might be okay, but the very best, I like it when Holmes actually has to catch the bad guys. Okay. First, we'll start with some honorable mentions. The Copper Beeches, The Final Problem, A Study in Scarlet, and The Blue Carbuncle. Honorable mentions, they almost made the top 10, but not quite. So, number 10, The Adventure of the Empty House. Now, it turns out that Sir Arthur Conan Doyle wrote the Sherlock Holmes stories as sort of a side hustle. He wasn't all that invested in it. And so, after the first set of stories, he killed Sherlock Holmes off. And the outcry from the public was great. They wanted Holmes to come back. So, in a new set of stories published in 1903, we have The Adventure of the Empty House. Holmes did not die. He actually survived his encounter with Professor Moriarty. And we have a mystery of a murder in London. And we get to meet the henchman of Professor Moriarty, the second most dangerous man in London or England, Colonel Sebastian Moran. So that's number 10. Number 9, The Red-Headed League. This was published in 1891. Some stories might be a little bit similar, like The Three Garridebs, but this is very nice with the mystery, and then there's a crime behind it, and we even find out later that actually Professor Moriarty was behind it at the highest level. Again, number 9, The Red-Headed League. Number 8, The Adventure of the Greek Interpreter, 1893. This is the first appearance of Mycroft Holmes. Let me adjust my camera here a little bit. Again, great mystery, great antagonist. They have to figure out what's going on, and Holmes has to catch the bad guys. Excellent. Number 7, The Adventure of the Silver Blaze, 1892. This one not so much for the villain as the mystery of what happened. And the Silver Blaze is a horse, and you're trying to figure out what happened to the horse. Number 6, The Adventure of the Illustrious Client, published in 1924. We meet a very good antagonist for Holmes, Baron Gruner. So it's not much to figure out who's behind it, but Holmes has to go toe-to-toe with him. And it's not even a murder mystery. It's something quite interesting, really. But Holmes goes up against Berengruner. Number 6, The Adventure of the Illustrious Client. Number 5, The Adventure of the Six Napoleons, published in 1904. There are some similar stories, like The Blue Carbuncle, but I believe this is the best one of stories of that type. We have an antagonist, we have a missing gem, we got to find the gem. Excellent, excellent, The Six Napoleons. Number 4, The Adventure of the Bruce Partington Plans, published in 1917. I think this is one that I like more than other people like. I don't see it that high on other people's lists. But there are missing plans, there's a murder, and you have to catch the bad guy and entrap him. So it's right down my alley for what I like. All right, number 3, The Adventure of the Second Stain, published in 1905. And actually, Conan Doyle listed this as the 8th of his 12 favorite Sherlock Holmes stories. Number 2, The Hound of the Baskervilles, published in 1901. I know a lot of people have this as their number 1. I can understand that. It's very good. I like it. And actually, this was published after Conan Doyle had killed off Holmes, but before he brought him back with other stories. So this is a short novel, sort of giving the fans what they want without actually bringing Holmes back. An excellent story. And I like the fact that Holmes sends Watson because he believes that the antagonist, the villain, will pick up on if Holmes is actually in the location. So I kind of like that about Holmes. He knows his fame precedes him, and he's trying to be sneaky. Really like it. Number 1, my favorite, the sign. Excuse me, the Sign of Four. Some people call it the Sign of the Four. I prefer the Sign of Four. Kind of like it. Published in 1890. We have the appearance of the irregulars. Doesn't happen all that often in the Holmes stories, but I like the irregulars. I like the backstory. I like where it came from. I like trying to figure out what's going on and why it's happening. Is a nice mystery. Some people say it's racist, or I don't think so, but I mean I suppose some people could call it racist, but in London, England, they had an empire. They were elitist. I wouldn't argue with that, but I don't believe that Conan Doyle was being racist. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. So that's my number 1, The Sign of Four. So that's my top 10 Sherlock Holmes stories. Thank you for being here today in the Book Corner with JC. And if you happen to like the content, please like and subscribe. Thank you.